Okay guys, hopefully you were able to do well in the last few questions. If not, we're going to take a few minutes to just go over these. Even if you got them right, I would suggest maybe just going through to make sure you're working them the most efficient way. Some of us are seeing what's going on, but maybe we just want to make sure we're doing it the fastest, quickest, most wise way that is possible. Because when we get to things like ACT, SAT, or even high school math, we're going to just want to work more efficiently. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to look over these, even if you got them right. So the first one, number 5, we are in luck because we see that they're all already lined up. X is over X, Y over Y, constants over constants. But mostly we're in luck because one of our coefficients already cancel out. The x's here, if we see 4 plus negative 4 is going to make a 0, is what we want to make happen anyway. And on the first several problems, we had to force that to happen because it wasn't already happening. But this time it is. So we don't have to do any extra work. We don't have to multiply any equation by anything. So 4x plus negative 4x is going to give us 0x. So our x's are gone. 9y plus 7y gives us 16y. And then 5 plus 11 gives us 16. So when we divide both sides by the coefficient in front of y, which is 16, we find out y is equal to 1. Now we've got to choose either one of our equations to plug that y value back into. I'll choose the top one, just because. And we've got 4x plus 9 times y equals 5. Our y value we just found is 1. So 4x plus 9 equals 5. Minus 9 from both sides. 4x equals a negative 4. And so when I divide by 4 on both sides, x is equal to a negative 1. So x and y in order tells us that the point where they intersect is the point negative 1, positive 1. That should be the answer to number 5. Number 6 is very similar. X's are over x, y's over y's, constants over constants, no rearranging needed. The x's don't cancel, but when we notice that the negative 3 plus the positive 3 will cancel each other out already, we know there's no extra work needed. We can go ahead and start solving. 10 plus negative 2 is going to leave us with 8x. The y's are gone, so it would really be like plus 0y. I'm not going to write it because we don't need it. So equals 18 plus 6 is going to leave us with 24. And we divide both sides by 8. We know that our x value is worth 3. Plugging that x back into either one of these equations to find the y. I'll choose the second one only because I see some smaller coefficients here. It might be easier. So I've got negative 2 times x plus 3 times y equals 6. Our x value we just found is 3, so I'm going to plug that in where x was in the equation. So we've got negative 6 plus 3y equals 6. When I add 6 to both sides to make it cancel out over here, we get 3y equals 12. And to get rid of the 3 in front of y, we're going to divide. And so our y coordinate is equal to 4. So we've got our x, our y. The actual solution is that they're going to intersect at one point, so one solution, and that's happening at the ordered pair 3, 4. Alright, last one here. We've got our x over our x, y over y, constant over constant. We see that something actually already cancels. That doesn't happen with our x's, but it does happen with our y's. We've got a negative 1y and a positive 1y, so those will cancel each other out. So we can just solve for x. 1x plus 3x leaves us with 4x. 10 plus 18 leaves us with 28. When I divide both sides by 4, x is equal to 7. I need to take that x value, plug it into either one of these original equations. I will use the top one because I see smaller coefficients. So I've got x minus y equals 10. We now know that x is equal to 7. So 7 minus y equals 10. I would need to minus 7 from both sides. We get negative y is equal to 3. Well, we know that we cannot have a negative y in our final answer. We've got to remember there's an understood negative 1. So I'll divide both sides by negative 1 to find out that y is actually equal to a negative 3. The point of intersection here is going to be at the coordinate 7, -3. So this is just the review of the questions that you just finished. Hopefully you did well. We're going to move on to some more challenging.